I'm batting lead off.
You sure?
I heard you say to the guys, do you want to be good or do you want to be great? Is that the theme of this spring?
Well, I think that we're really kind of trying to see what are the things that are going to give us that opportunity to take those really little steps. I think we're a really good football team. We've been really good the last 2 years. To take that next step, it's difficult, and so there's some things we're asking these guys to do and allowing us to coach them, be honest with them, push them and motivate them. But there's got to be a return on their side. So nobody ever says they want to be average. Not many guys will even raise their hand to say they want to be good. But when you put it in their terms and say this is the things you need to do to be great, I think it sinks in a little bit better.
You've got 3 new position coaches. What is the challenge for those guys in spring football?
To make sure they understand who we are. And I think I challenged our team and our older guys, it's not like we're going to sit there and coach up these new guys. We want those guys in some ways. When we first got here, we needed our coaches to coach up the players, show them the culture, be the culture, show them what leadership's all about. As these new guys come in, obviously they know what they're doing, but I challenged our guys to, hey, let's show them what the culture really is, what it's all about. Put a little bit more into the ownership of them, taking that from good to great idea.
Armand Binns is also part of your staff now. Obviously, Bearcat fans are excited to see him back. How did that connection happen?
Well, we had a lot of these bobbleheads that were left, so we figured if we got Armand back here that he could then start peddling them on the street corners, and we think maybe we can do a little something with those things. But no, he actually came in last year, got a chance to meet him, spent some time with him, got a really good opportunity for him to come back and join us and do some things, and I think he'll be an incredible asset to us. We'd love to have those former Bearcats, especially the great ones. We lost somewhat of a great, not a Hall of Famer in Coach Mick. I said, hey, you lost your push to help us get into the Hall of Fame. Now we got to work ourselves on Armand Binns.
The new players include Jerome Ford from Alabama. Is his raw talent ability as good as any running back you've had here?
I don't know. I think that his ability in the weight room and some of those things we've seen, in this short amount of time, I think we'll see a little bit more when we get pads on. We knew him a lot out of high school, which is a great thing. We spent a lot of time with him out of high school. Coach Gino did. But it's a great example to our guys, too. Here's a guy that came in, is going to have a lot of talent, but he's still got to be who we are. And I think that's going to be the biggest transition. Transition is not going to be carrying the football and what he can do. Transition is he going to be able to figure out all those little things, the expectations that we have. Not that they didn't have them there, but every place is a little bit different.
Is linebacker the big position group question this spring?
It's got to be. It's the spot that we got to find out. We lost 2 really, really good and productive football players, and now in this spring we got to find out what we've got. We've got a large number of guys and some different guys, and maybe even some guys that have moved in there like a Will Huber, but we really got to find out what we'll have. Because it's so critical and key to what it is we do defensively. It's setting things and making calls and kind of being the leader of the defense.
Anything exciting this offseason for you?
No, it's been pretty boring. I know that this couldn't come faster, not for our players, I think, but as much as for me and the coaches. And it's not just me, it's just everything that there's a lot of opportunities, whether they're new coaches here. Probably every one of our coaches had opportunities because of what our kids have done on the football field, and to get your mind back into the things that you really love. This spring ball couldn't come early enough. I'd have probably started it 2 weeks ago if we could have, but I think we're in a good position right now.
So Dan mentioned talking to them about you want to be great, and you kind of talked about the progression of you get good and then it's harder to get better. So what do you do differently as a staff heading into this?
Well, we try not to do anything that's the same. We have consistency. We have things that are the core to what it is that we do, but we're always tweaking and changing little things. Whether it's the winter conditioning projects, the things that we do coaching-wise, it's even how we practice. There's some things different in practice that, in our 4th year that we think that can make us better as opposed to what we did in the first year. So I think there's a consistency to it, but there's always some development in the things that we got to do to change as well.
Greg Scruggs, how did that come about, him making that decision that he wanted to go from player development to coaching? Because he had talked about not wanting to be a coach.
No, he'd always said, hey, I'm not doing this to try to get into coaching. I really just want to be with kids. And I think that not being around the program like this, meaning, he was in the NFL and doing some different things. I think for 2 years or year and a half being around the program, seeing what it is, I think there's some things that pulled at him. He loved what he did, and he did an unbelievable job, but he out of a, called me out of the blue when we were in this process and kind of brought it up to me, and which is a big step for him because he had told me I got no intentions of coaching. which shows me some things about what our program has done and will do. Can continue to pull people in, especially really good people, because of the way you do things.
Dan Enos has been a head coach. He's been an offensive coordinator at a high level. How much of a steal is it to get a guy like that to come in and coach your running backs and be associate head coach?
Yeah, it is. It's great for us. I think it fits a lot of different things for us offensively as well as the staff. But the most unique thing is the history, because you can bring in some really good guys and really smart guys, and if they don't work together, if the mix doesn't fit, if the chemistry isn't there, it can be counterproductive. And to actually be a guy that Coach Gino coached here, was a GA, or no, Coach Denbrock was a GA when he was playing. There's a lot of connections for those guys. They give them an opportunity to, kind of put egos aside and be about the big picture of things. And I think so far, I think that's the thing I'm most excited about, is to see how those guys are working together.
How about Coach Eliano? How did he come about?
It's kind of unique too. He was the defensive coordinator for Coach Mick when he was at BG. So there's a lot of connections there. They speak a lot of the same languages. So that transition, not for me and for us and our staff, but for those guys in the corner room who have done an unbelievable job, I don't think the transition is nearly as large because there's a lot of connections there.
About the first impression of Noah Davis and then that tight end group as a whole?
No, I think as a whole that group is still really strong. I know we lost Josiah, who obviously was kind of the heart and soul of that group, but to have Bruno back, to have to have Leonard Taylor where he is right now, and to add a few new guys, I think the unique thing is we even took Cuber out of that group, and it still is a really good-looking group, very intelligent group that through this entire spring you'll see them do a lot of different things because maybe a lack of depth at wide receiver.